right, it looks like hopefully we've gotten our standard magic getting up and running again. Hopefully we've got all the technical issues resolved for anyone that is on the chat and can inform us otherwise to the contrary. We greatly welcome it. We'd love to hear if we can improve on something. So hopefully we've got it all taken care of. We should be getting magic here started very soon. We might still be having issues. We are not positive. But it looks like we are going to at least get started. Adrian Barnello on Simic, Merfolk, Ryan, Niemczyk on red with cream, also known as just Boros aggro.
Yeah, so Boros aggro. What makes Boros aggro different from the normal kind of like red deck wins, old school Ramanov ruins, and the standard?
You know, I'm actually not even entirely positive. I kind of want to just look at his deck list and find out because I don't know.
I have a feeling we're going to be seeing some number of...
Actually, I would even qualify this as more big red because, you know, most of the mono red decks are usually curving out
really low.
Like 2.
Yeah, 2, maybe 3.
But this is running 2 of the new Phoenix.
Rekindling one?
Rekindling Phoenix. It's got 3
flyer.
Of that Relentless Raptor 3-drop, the 3/2 with Enrage. Deal 2 to your opponent.
Does it have any Enrage triggers in it?
It doesn't. I mean, he could abrade himself, and
I mean, he could.
But he's got Dire Fleet, Daredevil.
That's the... Is that the one that Snapcasters for red?
So we're going to get going here very shortly.
Just having a deck check on Ryan right now.
A quick deck check on Ryan.
So this Simic Merfolk deck a lot of people have been talking about. It's kind of like...
Yeah, it's
a big hype deck.
showing up on MTGO already. I think it's the number 4 or 5 deck in the meta already. At like
wow, that's really quick.
6 or 7%.
I guess Merfolk is a popular tribe because that seems really fast. But like,
well, I think it has a little bit of... Obviously, the 2 big tribes to come out of Ixalan block as a whole that have the most potential are vampires and merfolk, and I think it's simply because they're just in 2 colors, so it can be more trimmed down. It can be more fluid, more consistent. Dinosaurs, depending on what build you want to do, is either in 2 colors or 3, and then you're getting picky on which one it is, and then you want to play a lot of ramp to ramp.
I think Pirates has the exact same issue.
What if you do too many ramp spells? Then not, and so it has issue there. And like you said, Pirates has issue. Do you want to do blue-black? You're more controlling. Black-red, more aggro. There's a lot of different ways to play it. So it just seems like the most consistent best decks are going to be Vampires and Merfolk. And Merfolk just seems to have slight edge just because whereas Vampires can go wide, it usually takes a bit to get there, whereas Merfolk can just get big and get big fast.
Yeah, it seems like the +1/+1 counter synergy just really helped out the tribe. The real Colonel, is it Colonel or Colonel? I never say it right.
That's Colonel.
Colonel. The real Colonel. Hey, good seeing you. Hope audio's coming in clear. It's round 2 of the GateWay series here at Moonbase Market in the heart of St. Louis. It's Soulard. Yeah, no, I think so too. It's actually really interesting seeing like the cards already starting to transition into brews for Modern. We're seeing the Lord show up now for the vampires.
What's it called? Mistbender? Oh, for vampires?
There's
a lieutenant.
There's a white-black vampires list that's been making the rounds. It's playing the old Zendikar vampire. That whenever a vampire dies, you can pay black to drain your opponent 2 life each way.
Okay.
It's also playing Viscera, which is randomly a vampire.
Yeah.
So it's like, if the board ever stalls out, it just sacrifices its board, puts like 10 drain triggers on the stack.
Okay, fantastic. And the audio's coming in clear. Yay!
Yep.
It's a Christmas miracle.
We did it, boys.
We got there.
I know who you are. We played draft yesterday. I got absolutely curb stomped. It was brutal. All right, looks like we're resolving mulligans. I'm honestly going to put my money on Adrian here. His deck seems like it's going to be
It really depends, though, and I think it solely depends on if Ryan can find these phoenixes. If Ryan can get these phoenixes online,
They're impossible to kill.
Adrian has no way to get rid of these.
Yeah.
Like, just absolutely no way to get rid of them. He
there-
could use it as a chump blocker if Adrian.
He could literally chump block for the rest of the game with it.
Chump block for forever, and then once he's done chump blocking, he can just actually start swinging in.
Yeah.
So if he can get to the phoenixes fast enough, I think he's in great shape. If that's not the case, then there might be a bit of a struggle.
The catch is I don't see any ramp out of Ryan's deck, and that is the Frentic Goblin, the 1/1 pinger.
Yep.
So he just played it and immediately killed.
He played it and passed, and Adrian then played the unblockable Merfolk. He pinged it to kill it. Carry Zev, followed up by Metallic Mimic, I'm assuming on Merfolk. Unless he did it on Pirates randomly by mistake, but I don't think Adrian would do that.
Shock. There's a lot of removal I'm seeing out of Ryan's list right now. Also, that Carry Zev does get in for a lot. It's a 1/3 menace first strike, which is one of the weirdest lines of
But it's also very good. It's like when you see like first strike and death touch. It's just like, I can't.
It's really painful to block.
Yeah.
And then it brings in that 2 monkey to the party. That is
But 2 mimics down in the graveyard already for Adrian is not good for him.
That's a lot of removal. That's an on-cop crasher. It's gonna no exert. Doesn't need to. He's already in such a good spot. Right there. So yeah, this is quite a quick clock, but look how wide this is getting. That's the 3-mana Merfolk that when it enters the battlefield makes a 1/1 hexproof.
I love value cards like that.
Yeah. Like even if you
Vampires
kill it,
has one too. It's 1 and a white for a 2/1 that when it dies.
That card is amazing, especially in sealed and limited. With the 1/1 life thing, which I would have to say the 1/1 life link tokens and limited and sealed are way better than the 1/1 hexproofs. Because 1/1 hexproofs are great chump blockers, but 1/1 life links, especially with like just a random aura or a
the
piece
only
of
way the
equipment.
1/1 hexproof is really going to get you there is if you also have one of those means to really just get counters on it, and you can make it big. If you can get it to be like a 5/5 hexproof, well then that's
Digging the red with cream name.
Ryan was very explicit that it had
adamant.
to be red with cream, and we would be disappointing him if it wasn't.
Yeah.
So we made sure we did the right thing.
Yeah, that looks like a Silvergill Adept, old school art. I appreciate revealing another Silvergill Adept. One of those cards that, like, I mean, it's played in Modern.
Yeah.
It's played in Legacy. It's a really good Magic card.
And I think that's another reason why the Merfolk has the edge over the Vampires list is
you can draw.
Yeah, you can churn through your deck faster. I think there's more ways to draw cards.
I will say it feels like the Vampire tribe, especially with like Edgar Markov of the Commander set happening. It feels splashy. There are some amazingly cool cards that, like, in Commander, I would want to play all day.
Yep.
Like, Alinda, the Dusk Rose, is basically just a broken Commander card. It's just an asking for an infinite combo.
It is.
The Twilight
Someone
Prophet.
has to break it, though.
Yeah.
Because the only downside to Alinda is she has to go to your graveyard.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Sure. Yeah, that's fine with Nim Deathmantle, which that's like the easiest combo card in all of Modern.
And here goes Adrian dropping a Lord. Now things are going to really start to swing in his favor. But Ryan did find a Phoenix, and Adrian's going to read it over and realize,
oh no,
this is not good for him.
Yeah, it's a 4/3 in the air. It can chump block all these guys.
It can kill anything that Adrian has. It will come back as a 1/1 that he'll just get back as a 4/3 flyer again.
Yusuf, the turnout today was 10. There is a local GP and a PPTQ in town, so I would say that's pretty good for
for first weekend of a new set, people trying to get the new cards, adjusting to a new meta because of bans. There's literally a PPTQ.
A couple hours away.
No, a PPTQ.
Oh, yeah,
it's
PPTQ.
like 10, 15 minutes
10
away.
minutes away.
And, and then there's a GP that's 4 hours away. So we're happy with the turnout. It's not exactly amazing, but it's not bad either. So we're very happy with and thankful for anyone that came out today. Looks like a lot of combat math being done here.
Yeah.
People trying to figure out exactly what's going on, what's the best advantage, the best play. A lot of tapping and counting.
Ryan can't actually go, by the way. But Quint, CJ, and Ken are 9 and 3. Possible prizing, and that's awesome. Quint, CJ, and Ken are 3 local players doing that's really cool.
Yeah, that's very good.
9 and 3 is a really risky position too, though. That's you can't lose anymore.
Now.
Yeah.
I don't even think they can risk a draw.
No, you can't draw at that.
Yeah,
no.
they have to win out.
Also, trying to get a draw in team sealed is next to impossible.
Yeah.
Just there's 6 people.
Because you have to go 1 and 1, and then they have to time out.
Yeah.
That's pretty much the only way that's.
It is impossible, and also it's 6 people.
Yep.
And no one, if one person's like, I'm not really on board with this, it's not going to happen. It's just, you can't make it work. Like, between 2 people, it's possible. But with the 6 people, the last team sealed GP I did, which was in Indy, last time it was in Indy.
Oh, okay.
I was with Naveen and Nolan, 2
Nolan
other
Dang?
local players. Yes.
Okay.
The slew crew, if you will.
Yeah.
And we got a draw in our first round, much to my chagrin, because Naveen just played unbelievably slow.
Oh, they lost to Turtonwald, Duke, and Huey?
That's rough. It's
losing to the Orchard.
Yeah.
That's tough beats. It's
yeah, we'll let them know. Amateurs losing to those guys.
Scrubs.
So I was back to Ryan. Like, Rekindling Phoenix is a huge card. It's impossible to kill. But he can't go, like, super aggro suicide because it doesn't have haste. He doesn't have, like, a way to recur it right now besides, just trading it off in combat.
The only
he has
way
to be
he
careful.
could do is, and I've seen Adrian's deck list, the only removal spells he's running is 3 copies of Unsummon. So what he has to have is he has to somehow get Ryan to chump to kill the Phoenix, and then when the 1/1's out, he has to unsummon that token so that the Phoenix can't come back. That's literally his
not
only
a good
out,
play.
and that's the percentage chances of that playing out in that sequence, and him having the unsummon when he needs it is just so brutal for him.
Yeah, that's not a, I'd say, viable way of doing it. Like, it's just really hard. All right. Sorry, guys, just playing around with the settings a little bit. Metallic Moon. Man, I gotta say, those 2 Metallic Moons dying super early completely changed the pace of this game. Ryan's deck has a lot of pressure in it, but, like, it's not able to, like, just murder you like old school Ramen Up Red. And being able to remove those mimics and preventing all of his creatures being 2/2s to 3/3s and 2/2 hexproofs and stuff like that, huge game.
Yep. And it pretty much played out exactly how we said. If Ryan can find the Phoenix, he's fine.
Yeah.
Because Adrian started to develop the superior board state there, and it wasn't until Ryan dropped the Phoenix that Adrian actually had to slow down, stop, recalculate, and it just couldn't get there.
Yeah, because unfortunately for Adrian, he was already on the back foot. He couldn't just, like, keep attacking.
Yep.
Like, he couldn't start attacking because he'd be dead.
Yep.
Yeah.
So sideboarding's happening here.
Yep.
What do you think would they bring in? Looking at sideboards.
Looking at sideboard list.
So here's Adrian. He's got 1 Entrancing Melody, 1 Tempest Caller, 2 Silent Gravestone, 2 Naturalize, 1 Pull for Tomorrow, 1 Hadana's Climb, 2 Swift Warden,
He brings in
2
Swift Warden.
Heroic Intervention, and 3 Negate.
So
I think you could make an argument for Negate, although I don't know if he wants to be spending that much mana to counter a Lightning Strike, so probably not.
I'll be
think
honest.
his best thing is honestly like an Entrancing Melody.
Yeah, like, Entrancing Melody looks good. I feel like Swift Warden could be okay. It's a little slow, but I don't know. I'm looking at this sideboard, and it doesn't really have a lot for this type of matchup.
No, he doesn't.
And I'm looking at the other side.
And maybe like Tempest Caller, if it does get into a board state where it's kind of stalled out and the Phoenix is getting in the way, he could drop a Tempest Caller, tap everything, and then he's fine. He can just swing out for the win.
I agree with that. I'm looking at the other side, and I'm seeing Path of Metal as a 3 of in the sideboard.
Yeah.
That card is sweet, and it actually just kind of hoses Adrian's deck. Adrian doesn't have any of the keywords that it cares about. It's First Strike, Haste, and Double Strike.
First Strike, Double Strike, Haste, Vigilance.
Menace. Vigilance? Cool. None of those.
I don't know if Haste is one of them. Vigilance, First Strike, Double Strike are for sure. I will look that up.
So none of those are viable keywords for the Merfolk tribe. And there's a lot of 1 toughness creatures via the tokens and the metallic mimics coming around. That is a 2 mana mini wrath that seems like could do some work.
All right. First strike, double strike, vigilance, and haste. Okay, so we were right.
We're right. Yeah.
And yeah, it's just that's not good for Adrian.
Lol, Ryan's gonna make me regret selling off the red. Yeah. So Yosef just sold off his Ramanop red deck.
Oh no!
After the ban, he was like, I actually was like hanging around here, and he was like, I'm done, and he just sold it off. Heath, are there any plans for the sealed Gateway series?
There
Yosef
is
asking.
plans for sealed Gateway series. As we've stated before, Standard, Modern, Legacy are going to be our main formats, but we want to do one event per season where it's something different, and we're going to switch back and forth between seasons. So the idea is to do a sealed or popper. Is that we would go back and forth between.
Yeah, it's
at this point, it's looking like for this season we're going to do pauper, and that's just because although it's kind of a newer sealed format with rivals now appearing, it's still Ixalan's included. This has now been out for a while. So the idea is maybe do pauper this time, and then when Dominaria comes out and we start that season, we'll do
the first season also that's designed to be
designed to be a large
like
set.
That's
all
the
on its
new
own, for draft and for standard. That will do Dominaria sealed as a Gateway series event.
Yeah, it's really awesome how the three main formats, Modern, Legacy, and Pauper, Oh, sorry, Standard, my bad. Apologies.
You're not sorry.
No, I'm not sorry at all. I will spread lies.
Yep. But yeah, so to answer your question, we do have plans on sealed. It's just probably not going to be until Dominaria comes out. So you're probably still waiting about 3 months, unfortunately. But it will happen, and it will be fun, provided Dominaria is good.
Yeah, please.
But that promo art got me so excited. So
the Karn.
The Karn, Teferi, Jora.
Yeah.
And the Weatherlight kind of in the background.
Oh, I thought that was one of the Phyrexian ships.
Was it? It looked like the Weatherlight to me. I could be wrong.
Yeah. I need a double check the art.
Stoked.
All right. Adrian leads on an unglued forest, followed by an unglued mountain.
Unglued?
Unhinged.
There you go.
Whatever.
But his Metallic Mimic is getting shocked again.
Yeah.
All these lords dying for Adrian, not good. Earthshaker Kenra in for 2. Adrian falls to 18.
Earthshaker Kenra is what I would say one of the reasons that any of these red decks, like it's one of the pivotal cogs.
No, this is one of the new cards for Merfolk that came out this set that I like a lot. I forget what it's called, but it starts as just a 1/1, and whenever a Merfolk enters the battlefield, it gains a counter.
It's the elite. It is
something elite.
Deep Root Elite.
Yep.
And you can put that 1/1 counter anywhere.
Yeah.
Not just itself.
I think that one's great.
Yeah, you can just start slamming it on hexproof tokens.
Yep. That's when the hexproof token becomes viable.
Really good. Yes. That's where, like, if he plays the 3-drop right now, that makes a 1/1 token.
Looks like he's out of lands, though.
Merfolk. Reveal Merfolk.
Silver Girl Adept. Reveal. Draw a card. Get some token counters. Seems good.
Seems good. Put a 1/1 counter on.
He does have another land, though. All right. Swing for 2. And so we might just straight have a race now.
Yeah, this is a race at this point. Unfortunately for Adrian, I don't know if he can actually... Oh, a Braid. Brutal. Is there a Spell Pierce?
Does he have Spell Pierce? He has Unsummon. He's okay.
I think he has to do it.
Yeah.
Like,
there's a lot of value in that card, so it makes sense.
So yeah, as I was saying, I've been playing Standard for a while. I've been playing Standard for 3 or 4 years, and I've been playing Magic for the better part of, I would say, like 10. And this red deck wins, like, mono red list is one of the strongest I've ever seen playing Magic.
Yeah.
Maybe it's the meta, maybe it's how exactly it shapes out, but it just has so much mid-range, which these decks usually never get to have. They're usually all in on, like, murdering you by turn 4, but these decks can just, like, happily have a Hazard out and just discard their hand and just kill you.
A Hazard makes it different, because all the ones before that, it was just, can we get there?
Yeah.
And Hazard just changes that, because even if you can't, you can activate its ability and just start discarding for shock value, and
which works.
Get there eventually.
Yeah, and then there are other cards though that like still fuel this, like Earthshaker Kenra, 2/2 for 2 with haste that comes back as a 4/4 that takes out your best blocker. The Bomat Courier as a weird kind of form of card advantage that red usually doesn't get access to. There's the Oncot Crasher, I would say, is very whatever. It's like a 4/3 when it attacks and exerts.
3/2.
Doesn't it get +1/+1?
It's 3/2. No, when it exerts, target creature can't block. That's what makes it good.
That's what makes it good.
3/2 with haste that can also make something not block is ridiculous.
Really off the it puts your opponent on the
add
back foot.
uncommon.
Add uncommon. That was one
I hated
of the
that
most brutal cards
in the red-white deck in Amonkhet Limited was insane because of all the exerting, not blocking stuff. Yeah, you're absolutely right, Colonel.
I would agree with that, Yosef. The Phoenix does just add this nice mid-range grind. I am with the banning, like it lost a little bit of its late game. With the Ramanop Ruins kind of just being a clock you can't really outrun. You no longer really have to run the desert package, so I guess you never get those 2 Sunscorched desert hands anymore. But
Adrian did drop Kumena now, so now things get
1, 2, 3,
a
4,
little
5.
bit more interesting.
So
he can start drawing cards, he can start countering, which is I think what he wants to do. But he attacked there, so I guess he's going for card draw on this one.
Yeah.
But Kumena 100% just said
his life total is so low. Like he can't afford to.
Did you see the price spike on Kumena after the bans?
No. How big was it?
It was 8. It's 24 now.
Makes sense.
It's now the most valuable card in Rivals. I feel like this happens I mean, we're not going to have small sets anymore. This is historically the last small set ever, unless they change their mind again, which who knows what Wizards will do. But it is the last one. I feel like this happens a lot. And if you go back through all the small sets, if there is a mythic from a small set, it's going to be expensive.
Yes.
So Kumena in this one, you go back to Hour of Devastation, you have the Scarab God. You go back, Aether Revolt is a little bit different, but even still at uncommon, Fatal Push, Heart of Kieran's a little bit expensive. Before that, Grimflayer, Liliana, Emrakul when it was legal. Before that, Kalitas. Those are all small set mythics that are just way expensive for standard.
The thing that got me...
And I'm talking money, not like in terms of playing the game.
So, Yosef, I think Ferocitron actually had to get banned. I was pretty on board with it. And I get it hadn't done anything wrong yet. Like, there was that tokens list that was around there that was a temporary hoser. But
which
for
is
vampires
back on the list again. It's like the number 8 deck on MTG Goldfish this morning.
Yeah.
Tokens, Abzang.
But as far as, like, decks that... A vital aspect, I think, of the Vampire deck is going wide. It is very easy for them to make 1/1 tokens. It's Mythic that kind of defines the tribe, because we had the 2 Mythics that defined the tribes here. We had Kumena, and like we're seeing card draw and like putting 1/1 counters on your creatures, and like kind of evasiveness. And then we saw Alinda as the opposite, where like we're very okay with our creatures dying. We get benefits for our creatures dying, and we get a lot of tokens, and we get a lot of lifelink. I think you completely shut down the chance for vampires to ever do anything if you don't take Ferocitron out.
And it's actually not even vampires. It's in general. If you just look at in terms of game theory, the way you beat aggro in Magic is put blockers in front of them as fast as possible, even if you can keep up 1 a turn. Or gain life. Those are historically the 2 most effective and efficient ways to combat aggro.
You're forgetting the third. Go faster.
But Ferocitron naturally combats both of those. It in and of itself is menace.
A
so
3/3 for
already
3
making
with
a 3/3 with menace that's already hard to block, and it completely negates life gain. It makes everything that you naturally want to do and how Magic is developed to do to beat an aggro deck, it makes it impossible to do. Now, I do understand your concern about a tokens deck, but at least we have answers to that. Most recently in Ixalan, we had the new card printed, and I completely forget what it's called. I can look it up, but it's 1 black, and all creatures get -2/-2 till the end of turn.
Golden Demise.
It's golden something, right?
Golden Demise.
Golden Demise. And
it's
if they have Ascend, then it's -2/-2 to all your opponents. And that in and of itself, that should probably just be a sideboard. If you're in black, that should be a sideboard card from now on.
Yeah.
Because now you can deal with red, because most red creatures
Die.
have 1 or 2 toughness, and that would die. And now you can deal with the tokens list. So that's 2 big archetypes you could deal with completely with just that 1 card.
So it should be noted that Ryan was able to find another Phoenix and is getting in there. And again, I just don't see how Adrian comes out from this. He just lost a few people. Sure, he has a Cumena, but he doesn't have the ability to make it big.
Yep.
Because at the end of the day, Cumena's a 2/4.
Adrian's also been land starved this entire game,
Yeah.
and whereas that's not a big deal for Ryan, he doesn't need that many lands. Adrian at least wants like 4 or 5 lands
just to be able to do
two things a turn. Yep. And he has not been able to do that efficiently. He has.
It's crazy to me too. Like, we look back at Collected Company, which is a card that Magic has said they should have banned.
They should, yeah. They've outright said it. Yep.
Yeah. And especially with how it plays, because it played so closely to Aether Marvel, and anyone who played Aether Marvel knows that card was just dumb.
It was broken.
It's so crazy to see how quick they are to pull the trigger preemptively now.
Yep.
Like, sure, people weren't happy with Ramanop Ruins and Frosan getting banned. Like, Yosef sold his deck. But I still think it was a good call. Like, I didn't really need to see 3 months of Ramanop Ruins just destroying people. Especially before Energy Marvel became like the deck. Ramanop Ruins was already destroying people. You remember when it was like the Rise of Ramanop or something like that for that Pro Tour? Yeah, so I think it's okay.
Well, Ramanop has made the finals of the last 2 standard Pro Tours.
Yeah.
And won one of them. So
it's so strong. It's such a strong deck.
It was a strong deck, and anybody is kidding themselves if they didn't think that was not going to be the dominant deck. Because, and that was one of the things that I did love about that BNR article so much, is they explained it.
Super well.
So well written. All the stats they needed to back up their point of views and their decisions. And
the stats made me angry, though, I'll be honest. And, like, don't get me wrong, I love statistics. Anyone who knows what I used to do in life, I love statistics. It's more that we used to have very easy and open access to those stats.
Hate that.
And now it's like, look at these convenient stats we have. And you're like,
oh
yeah, those are convenient.
It would have been neat to know that the whole time. Maybe people could have tried to figure other things out. But yeah, since Wizards has gone so like, oh, we'll only publish 5 decks a day.
5 curated decks a day.
Oh, it's so stupid.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. Oh yeah. Look at how much of the meta is diverse. And like, yeah, it's amazing how diverse you can make things look when you curate the list.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, looking at the percentage on Ramanop Red, their only negative matchup was Energy. That's it. They had a plus 50% win percentage against every other deck in the meta.
Their Energy matchup wasn't like a 20% matchup. Yeah, it was like a 40% matchup.
It was like 46.
Yeah.
It still wasn't awful.
Which, unless you have, okay, quick sidebar.
Yeah.
I love playing Magic, but there are tics that happen in the Magic the Gathering community that drive me crazy. And one of my least favorite ones is people who tell me, looks like Ryan got there, by the way, guys. One of the tics that just kills me is when people say percentages that aren't rounded. Oh yeah, I have a 53% against tokens. No, you don't. You don't know that. Get out of here. Did you play 2,000 matches of your exact deck against every build of tokens?
Yeah.
Because if you did, you're a crazy person. And congratulations for doing such great data.
A, why do you have that much time on your hands? B, you're crazy for keeping track of all of it.
C, amazing data extrapolation. I'm really impressed. Could you do my taxes?
Yeah.
Instead, we get, but like people do that all the time. It was oh yeah. I'm pretty good. I'm gonna say about 62% against blue-white approach. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
Just say you're good against it, or say it's a coin flip.
Or just say it's favorable.
Yeah, favorable. That works
favorable to me means above 50.
Yeah.
Not favorable, less than 50.
Yeah.
That's
coin flip.
Yeah, coin flip. I don't know.
It's a coin flip.
It could go either way.
Yeah.
It's a push.
It's like one thing. Like I was playing a Lantern Control deck in Modern, and I went up against the Rack. And if you know how that matchup works, the Lantern Control player is incapable of winning. They just cannot win. It is.
Yeah, that makes sense.
It's next to impossible because your entire purpose is to get your hand empty-handed because you play Ensnaring Bridge, and then the Rack is like, oh, your hand is empty? Great.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
Yeah.
And then you lose the game.
Yeah. Yeah, that is how that would work.
Yeah, for them it's mull till you hit the Rack, play the Rack,
win,
watch your opponent kill themselves.
Yeah.
So
I don't even does Lantern even play artifact removal?
it plays like abrupt decays and stuff like that,
Oh
but
yeah,
you're
that's
dead
true.
so quickly. Like
Yeah,
that's
that's
the thing.
true.
You have to you're just dead, so you will just go away. Um, and somebody's like, "Yeah, I feel like this is like a 90-10 matchup my way." I was like, "I get that because I legitimately cannot fathom a way I win the game because you're gonna thought seize my